What a year, man. What a year. To say that Spider-Man is my favorite superhero is honestly a huge understatement. I'll most likely go in depth about how Spider-Man has affected me if I review a different Spider-Man movie, like for instance Spider-Man 2 or The Amazing Spider-Man, something that resonated with my childhood and how it influenced my upbringing. But for today, we're talking about Spider-Verse. When the first Into the Spider-Verse movie came out, I really enjoyed it. I didn't see it as my favorite Spider-Man movie, as everyone else had said. Like, for a lot of people, that was their favorite Spider-Man movie, and understandably so. It was new, it was unique, it did something different than all the other Spider-Man movies did, and it still captured the love and the spirit that the Spider-Man movies give us. And I wasn't a huge Miles Morales fan growing up, I was always a Peter Parker kid, but coming from that first movie and the Insomniac games really turned me into a Miles Morales fanboy. I thought that first movie did a great job setting up its characters, setting up its environment, and creating a new form of animation for animated movies to come. Now, when it comes to Across the Spider-Verse, the first 15 minutes of this film surpasses the previous film in its entirety. Everything just feels different. It's more bright, it's more vivid, it's colorful. I mean, the minute this movie starts, you are easily sucked into this world. It steps up its game in every sense of the word. And this is top tier animation. Like, this blew my mind with what they were able to accomplish in this film. I know it's been said before that, but any frame that you can take from this movie is easily a painting for your wall at home. Or I would even go as far as to say that this movie deserves its own museum of every frame, because it's all different. Every frame has a different color, has a different feeling, has a different meaning, and it's truly incredible with what they're able to accomplish. Now, when I went to film school, most of what I was taught was about visual storytelling, and how this movie is able to tell its story with animation is just truly incredible. I mean, you can do visual storytelling in anything, but I mean, how they can convey emotion through the color palettes and through the locations that they're in. Like, for instance, there's a scene where two people are interacting with each other, and when the scene starts, the colors are very dark, and they're very moody and very heavy even. And the closer they get to each other, the more they begin to talk, the more that they begin to see eye to eye, the colors of the walls start oozing off. And then by the end of the scene, the entire room is white. I haven't seen that. I've never seen anything like that before. I also really like just how this movie takes it to the next level in all the best ways. It reminded me of the transition between Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2. Because with that first Sam Raimi film, it was tight, it was somewhat lighthearted, and it was just a simple, fun time. Now with Spider-Man 2, there are more layers, there's more character depth, and it's more mature. And that's one of the biggest things I can say about this movie, is that as opposed to the first one, it is more mature in that way. It is a deeper film that spends a lot of time with its characters, socializing with one another, growing in their friendships and their relationships. A lot of it is actually focused on Gwen and her story, and when it's focused on Miles, it's about him and his parents. And yeah, you still get your Spider-Man-ish things, but that's towards the later half of the movie. The first half is a lot of downtime with the characters, and I actually really appreciated that. The movie also has a perfect balance of its story, its characters, and its fan service. I don't think one thing outshined the other. I thought everything was very well realized. I think bringing in Miguel O'Hara, or Spider-Man 2099, was a great choice. I loved his portrayal by Oscar Isaac. I thought he crushed it. He's just this intimidating, almost menacing presence that's just there, and you just don't want to be on this guy's bad side. But they also included a lot of other great cameos, a lot that made me smile, one that is honestly just spectacular in every way, and yet they still don't shy away from the main focus. They don't forget who the movie's really about. It'd be so easy to fill this film with every single Spider-Man character that you can imagine, and they almost do that, but it never takes away from the overall experience of the film. Now, I'm a strong advocate of No Way Home, and I think that film is nearly perfect, except for the first half. And that's where I can praise this movie, because I feel like this one actually explained why we're dealing with the multiverse and what's happening in the multiverse better than No Way Home did. It's just better than having a kid go to a wizard and have them wish that they didn't know who Spider-Man was, and it all just accidentally happens. There's a legitimate scientific reason for the multiverse acting the way that it is in this movie. This film is clocking in at 2 hours and 20 minutes. I think, to my knowledge, that is the longest animated film ever made. But I mean, this thing moves by super fast. And I could have gone for 2 more hours of this movie. I could have gone for the next one right after this movie, because this movie ends at a spot where you really do not want it to end. It is a very hard cliffhanger, but I really do think it earns it. This is actually my favorite part 1 movie since probably Infinity War. Similar to Infinity War, although it does point to something bigger and you do have another half that is going to fully complete the story, because this is part 1 of 2. I feel like it still stands tall on its own and you can still watch this standalone and still get so much enjoyment out of it. Because that was my biggest problem when they were doing the young adult, like Harry Potter, Hunger Games, Twilight, part 1 and part 2, because part 1 was always just so dull. It was all set up, nothing really happened. And yeah, this movie is set up too, but like I said, it's just such a great movie on top of everything that it doesn't feel like a chore to get to the much better portion of the movie. I have high hopes for part 2 because I feel like that one is just going to be insanity from beginning to end. I don't think I've ever had to process an animated movie this much since like How to Train Your Dragon 3, but wow, they did it and it was phenomenal. If part 3 sticks the landing, this is probably going to be one of the greatest trilogies ever made. Not just animated trilogies either, like trilogies in cinema history. I applaud Lord and Miller for what they've done. I think they're some of the best directors in the animation business. After doing the Lego movies and the Spider-Verse movies, I mean, I'm going to be there for anything that they do at this point. And it actually makes me happy that this film got delayed, because I guarantee you it was to improve everything about this film. More so the animation, but like I said earlier in the video, I'm okay with that. Like, this is gonna set the bar for animated movies to come, and it actually makes me excited for more movies like this. I know that they're making a Ninja Turtles movie in this animation style, and I'm gonna be there for it. But I don't think that anybody's gonna be able to take away what Spider-Verse can do in terms of its animation, because Spider-Verse is always going to have its own thing that makes it special, and no one's going to take that away. Alright guys, that is it for my Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse review. If you cannot tell, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Do not wait to see this at home. See it in theaters as quickly as you can. Support this film, support what they've done. It is nearly a masterpiece. I don't know if this is my favorite film of the year so far. I really liked Guardians 3, but I do think that this one is going to have better pacing than that film, so I will say, as for now, this is my favorite film of the year. And they're two different movies entirely, so I don't really know if that's fair. But as for the comic book movies that have came out in the year 2023, this is my favorite. And we will see what happens when Flash comes out. As always, guys, please like and subscribe. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I'll see you again soon.